All right, everybody, welcome to episode 2 of the All-Star Sports Report podcast. Of course, as you all saw in the video, I am your host, Gary Wells. That's Mike Campigio. We're going to be talking about sports ball. A little bit of everything. I'm going to recap a little bit of the NFL from this past week and the game last night. We're going to talk about some NASCAR news, the championship itself as well, college football a little bit, and I do have a Formula One point on here. And
Okay.
we've got some, we're a little bit all over the board. It's going to be a little more racing heavy this week, I think, and a little bit more NFL heavy. But hey, that's what we're here for. College basketball just started. I know Kentucky beat Duke the other day, so that
Yes,
was
they
cool.
did.
That was cool, I
Mark
guess.
Pope. The Mark Pope era is officially underway.
Now he's going to bring championships to bring back nothing. That's what he's going to do. All right, cool. All right, so I did want to go ahead. We're going to dive right into some open wheel news. Penske Entertainment this week acquired the rights to the Long Beach Grand Prix from Gerald Forsyth. If I had Joe on here, he could probably tell us if it's good or bad. To me, I'm indifferent on it. I think it is a good move. Keeps it locked down with the open wheel stuff in IndyCar. Doesn't give NASCAR a chance to run there. Now, if NASCAR were to run there, I think the Cup Series would be forced to a Saturday race because I don't think people understand the significance of Long Beach on the IndyCar schedule. It is the second biggest race to the Indianapolis 500. That race is so big that they would not move that from a Sunday. So it would be NASCAR that would get backstage, which I think is hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think, regardless, it is a good move. So there's that.
You think Xfinity could run there? Just like if NASCAR wants to run there, just run the Xfinity series? Because I heard that was talked about.
Yeah, I mean, they would have to either run it the week before or the week after, in my opinion. Especially if you want to get both the Xfinity and the Cup Series. Now, I don't know. They might have to modify the course because that last hairpin turn is pretty doggone tight. So I don't even know if the stock cars can even make that. I know the sports cars can when they have IMSA and stuff there. That'd be tough for stock cars. So that would be interesting. I feel like they would do some testing there before going to an actual race there. So
Yeah.
But they didn't really test for the Chicago Street Race. They did their testing on the simulator. So
Yes, they did.
yeah, I don't know. It's different. It'll be interesting. A sad day in motorsports this week. F1 moves the Monaco date from the U.S. Memorial Day holiday to the first week in June, beginning in 2026.
At least we got one more year.
People call that the greatest day or the greatest, weekend in motorsports or whatever. I still think it's pretty great, even without the Formula One race there on that weekend. Yeah. I think it could potentially, if that's an open week there in the schedule, I think it could open up the opportunity for F1 drivers to do the Indy 500.
It very well could be. But hey, everybody at home, you get one more year to watch all three races on the same day.
Right. Greg Maffei, I think I pronounced his name right. He is stepping down as the CEO of Liberty Media. Of course, Liberty Media, we know, owns Formula One. And they also own a share in Meyer Shank Racing, and I want to say another race team probably. So interesting move for Maffei to step down. I don't know who. A whole lot of looking into it. I don't think they announced it really. But Maffei is the new CEO over there. I guess some other gossip NASCAR news. Brett Griffin is leaving the Door Bumper Clear podcast. A lot of mixed reviews on that. People are for it, and people are sad to see him go. For me, he's one of the OGs on that show. There are times where he makes some really good takes, and then there are some times where I think he says stuff for clicks.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially over the last maybe 2 or 3 years. But I think overall, I think he's done a really, really good job, and it's sad to see anything like that go. So it's going to be interesting to see who their replacement's going to be.
I was going to say, do they have any rumors on who's going to replace him?
I mean, I've heard, like, maybe Coleman Presley. should be interesting. But or
Yeah.
maybe they just go down to 2 for a while until something happens. But I don't think it would be Chase Elliott's cousin because he's about as secluded as his driver is from the NASCAR world. Outside of that, so maybe Stephen Parsons, if Stephen Parsons goes to a more of a spotter role full time, but we'll have to see. Rackley War Racing moved their truck team from Tennessee to the old GMS fabrication shop in Statesville, North Carolina this week. Well, this offseason they're going to be doing that. It's going to be a process for them. I think it has everything to do with their recent, I guess you could say, hire of Kevin Harvick.
Mm-hmm.
Or the latest collab that they're doing with him. Kevin going to be very involved with their late model program and their truck team, so maybe he runs a couple races. Maybe he's just more of an advisor role. Who knows? But interesting to see that they're going to be moving headquarters.
I'd like to see him run a couple truck races. I mean, he was very good when he had the old KHI team back in the day.
Yeah, he was very, very good. Last thing in regards to just general news from the week. 2311 and Front Row Motorsports have filed a formal notice in the U.S. District Court that it will appeal the denial of the preliminary injunction to the U.S. Court of Appeals. So they are, and basically what this is for is basically for NASCAR to change their charter agreement to where it's to. That's basically what this is going for. I don't think it's going to happen because if you look at it, the other teams have agreed to it. However, I think overall in the scope of things, I think they're fighting a good fight. Whether they're going to have a team next year or not, going to be interesting. I think they said they'd be willing to file as open teams. So, and NASCAR said they're prepared to just run with 32 charters next year. So, it will be interesting to see how that goes.
Speaking of a few things in the news this week, we had the issue with Denny Hamlin going after Larry McReynolds the other day in the Sirius XM crew at Channel 90. That was a big story this week about the playoff format.
Yeah.
So that was big. And then also, I don't know if you heard this or anybody at home watching heard this. Joey Logano said on the Kevin Harvick podcast that they said if anybody manipulated that championship race, NASCAR was threatening to take their opportunity to race at the Daytona 500.
Yeah, that's interesting. Let me just say this. Who runs... thank you, Joe Hutchins, for liking the stream. Let me just say this. Who owns NASCAR Channel 90?
It'd be NASCAR themselves.
Okay. Who does Larry Mack work for on a part-time basis?
NASCAR.
Do I need to continue on?
No, you do not.
Okay. All right. That's what I thought. That's how I feel about Larry Mack going back after Denny Hamlin saying, "Oh, the championship's boring. If you do, shut the hell up. You old. Shut up." Okay. Go back to your hole and enjoy your glory days of never winning a championship. How about that? How about that, Larry Mack? All respect to you because you won 2 Daytona 500s, but come on, man. I still think you got to modernize the Winston Cup format. That's just my opinion. I think I agree with Junior that I think the playoffs has run its course. It's time to do something a little different. You have to change it up now. You just have to.
According to NASCAR this week, they're considering doing tweaks this year for 2025, but a full revamp wouldn't come until 2026. I believe that was in an Adam Stern article.
Yeah, bullcrap. They ain't gonna change nothing. It's NASCAR. I will say though, speaking of NASCAR, Ty Majeski won his first Craftsman Truck Series title, won the race and the championship. I believe that is back-to-back championships for Sport.
It is, yes.
So, and by the way, Mike Kerb, who was on the Dale Jr. Download this week, I know I shouldn't shout out the podcast, but here we are. He was actually on the download this week, and he is listed as the owner of that 98 truck.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Yeah, he's and he said this is his first title in 44 years. You know what the last one was as a sponsor?
What's that?
1980, Dale Earnhardt Sr.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's a throwback.
That's a McNugget for you. You could go listen to that, and I'm not going to spoil the rest of the show. AJ, thanks for liking the stream, and Mike, thanks for sharing it, spreading the word.
Yes, sir.
Justin Allgaier wins his first Xfinity title after 14 years of trying, and his 7th Championship 4 appearance in the 7 car. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty.
He did not win the race though.
He didn't need to. Comes back from 2 laps down and wins it.
He about wrecked himself though on that last restart. He about wrecked himself.
Oh, I
I
thought he
will
was
say
going
that.
to, and I think that's why good old Riley Herbst kind of sent it in there, bud.
Yeah, he did.
One good old time just to, make things happen.
But let's give a shout out to that Riley Herbst in that 98 team, the final Xfinity race under Stuart Haas, getting one last win before they go to Haas Factory next year.
Yeah. I mean, that's cool, I guess. We can talk about Tony Stewart's thing about NASCAR here in a little bit. I didn't add it to my list this week, but it's there. But yeah, it's just a sad era to see that team go, but it's life, unfortunately, especially in the sport of NASCAR. It seems like teams last about 15, 20 years and they go away. It seems like the only exception to that rule is Petty Enterprises when they were around, Hendrick Motorsports, and Gibbs. I mean, it's really the only exceptions. I mean, it seems like the rest of the time it's 20, 30 years. Oh, and then RCR too, but I mean, you can make a case that they're not really relevant either. So, Penske, back to back. They have Phoenix in the next gen era on lockdown when it comes to the championship race, especially with how the current playoffs is. I'm sorry, your 14th best driver, period, before playoff standings is winning the championship.
Also, getting let back in after Alex Bowman got DQ'd, and that.
Well, as soon as he got let back in, I said he was going to win the next week. I don't know if anybody say that, but
I think you did say that.
So watch, he's going to go win Vegas. He's going to go win the championship.
I don't want to hear anybody else say that Chase Elliott's title in 2020 is a Mickey Mouse title, because to me, this is a Mickey Mouse title.
Yeah, and I mean, Chase was also pretty good that year. I mean, he wasn't dominant as like Harvick or Denny Hamlin were, but
no.
But he was. I still think he was probably the third best car that season.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I'll give it to you on that one. But
I really thought Ryan Blaney was going to get him, but he got held up by Larson and Byron too long.
Yeah, a little too long, and the lap traffic too at the end, and I mean, Coleman Presley was calling it like a plate race for Logano to block every lane. So
it also goes back to the short track package. It's
not great.
No, I mean what we saw at Homestead 2 weeks before. Hello, championship race there. Thank you.
They don't have the facilities, but hopefully they do eventually.
Yeah. But a lot of the talk last week going on the championship race was all about the penalties post Martinsville, that fiasco with team manipulation.
Well, hopefully NASCAR has to sit down with the OEMs. I don't think the OEMs should be involved with. I'm sorry, they're not the one holding the steering wheel, and these teams are so obsessed with manufacturer support. I kind of agree with Mark Martin. Chevrolet isn't going to help your career. Ford isn't going to help your career. Toyota isn't going to help your career. You can help yourself. Speaking of which, Parker Retzlaff leaving Jordan Anderson. People are thinking it's linked back to the fall race at Daytona, where Parker didn't push Kyle Busch. Instead, he pushed Harrison Burton.
Oh boy!
To the dub. People are linking it to that. There's some conspiracies out there about that. Again, I don't know how true that is, but here we are. People are going to talk about it. I think it has nothing to do with that. I think it's because he doesn't have quite the funding to run in the 31 car next year. Now, I've heard there's a rumor about a certain driver. I don't know who the driver is, but somebody's taking that 31 car over. I kind of thought they were going to shut down one team and put Jeff Burton in the 31 and maybe shut down to the 27 entirely, but that's not what they're trying to do. So kudos to Jordan Anderson for trying to keep 2 Xfinity teams open. What a thought. With him in the late 2010s, early 2020s, where he'd have 2 full-time Xfinity cars and 1 running part-time for a third car for Austin Green. Now, that would be a guy I would want to see take over that 31 as Austin Green.
Austin Green.
He's the son to David Green, current NASCAR official and former Busch Series champ.
Don't they have an alliance with RCR?
They do. They get their motors from him.
Okay, that's what I figured.
Mm-hmm. Which I think they should probably switch that to Hendrick, and maybe they'd run a little better. But hey, I mean, RCR's Xfinity program is phenomenal. So
they are. Especially Jesse Love and Austin Hill, and even, Sheldon Creed and Austin Hill before that.
Big country.
Big country. Yep. My favorite guy and his favorite nickname that pisses me off every single time.
Sorry, I got a little bit of the hiccups there. Okay, so yep, that's interesting. Anything else you want to add to the NASCAR news? Um,
Not much. We're just gonna have to keep up with this lawsuit. I did see Denny Hamlin posted something on Twitter. He posted the Leonardo DiCaprio gif from Wolf of Wall Street, so he must know something's coming down the turnpike. But also, one thing to add real quick is FedEx is leaving him. FedEx will not be returning next year.
yeah, I read about that earlier this week, and I also posted a GIF, or not a GIF, but a concept car. If he were to be sponsored by UPS,
I did see that.
what could Brown do for you? Nothing. Nothing. That's what they.
He still won't win a championship. So
Yeah, because I mean, UPS hasn't won NASCAR title either. You know. From what I've heard, it's Mavis is gonna pick up most of the schedule. I know Sports Clips usually sponsors him for 2 to 3 races a year, and then of course Interstate Batteries. They don't really do a full season anymore. They just kind of go on the car every now and then for basically all the Gibbs cars.
he might get Coca-Cola every once in a while because he's run a Coca-Cola car a couple times.
Yeah, he's also a Coca-Cola family racing driver.
Well, before we move on from the NASCAR topics, they did come out with the start times for next year. A lot of late afternoon starts on the Cup Series side. A lot of 3 o'clock Eastern times for Cup. A little more Sunday night action. There's a couple of Sunday night races. Xfinity, a lot of 4 or 5 p.m. Eastern starts on a Saturday. And trucks are all over the place. You got stuff at noon, stuff at 1, stuff at 7, stuff at 9. So it's all over the place for trucks. But at least Xfinity and Cup, you kind of know what your Saturdays and Sundays are going to be.
I'd still rather have the 1 o'clock start time for the Cup races. I don't care about the West Coast, and I don't care about their viewership. I really don't care. Start the races at 1 o'clock, please. Noon start times, noon or 1. It's not hard. Go compete with the NFL. Who cares? Your hardcore fans are gonna watch.
Yeah.
Like, plus, like, it's just there's something about having to rush home from church, grabbing something to eat, and going back into home in time for the NASCAR. There's just something about it. 1 o'clock start time. Plus, you avoid a lot of the weather shenanigans when you start at 1 o'clock, and
That
your
is
race
very
is
true.
over by 4, and then the rain starts at 5.
Yeah.
It's really not difficult. It's just the TV sponsors have NASCAR by the balls
Oh, they do.
to where they think where their ads will get the most airtime, and where the TV networks thinks they'll get the most viewership.
Yep.
So, but
But nothing yet on the CW. We don't know who they're going to do their broadcast next year. The Amazon and TNT. I mean, Junior's obviously confirmed, but that's still up in the air too.
I think we'll see. Usually for stuff announcements like that, usually those announcements come out after Thanksgiving, so we'll probably hear something early December, definitely before the new year. But usually that stuff comes out normally either the week of Thanksgiving or usually after that. So
And who knows? I mean, a lot of people were thanking Rick Allen for all his stuff. So I mean, maybe Rick Allen's not even going to be a part of it
it
next
doesn't
year.
even sound like Rick Allen's got a deal right now. So I mean, it is what it is. IndyCar really hasn't announced their booth either, so
No.
it's got to be kind of pickings of like who's going to go to IndyCar, who's going to go to NASCAR. So it'll be interesting to see how all that works.
I mean, Todd Bodine even said something because he was on show this morning. Todd Bodine, because he's been doing pit reporting since the Race Hub show shut down, and Todd Bodine said, like, I don't even know what I'm going to be doing next year, if I'm going to be coming back as a pit reporter or not.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So, all right. Well, that is pretty much it for the NASCAR news that I had. IU football. Let's go transition right to college. Number 5. So, just want to circle that there.
Big
Number 5
win.
in the country. Big win over Michigan this week. I really thought they were going to choke it. I ain't even going to lie to you. 20-15 was the final score there. They have really got to improve their second half.
Oh, yeah.
They even are going to have a chance against Ohio State next week. By tomorrow, so they're not playing this week. Next week, they'll play Ohio State in the Horseshoe.
Is that big noon?
I don't know. We'll find out tomorrow.
Yeah.
probably sometime tomorrow. But good to see. Good to see that they are in a position to get a playoff spot, win or lose. Um, they're gonna be really tough to beat. Now they really have to win this game in order to go play Oregon in the championship game. So kind of hoping it happens. I really want to see IU in the championship game. That's not basketball. I think that would be really interesting, but we'll just have to see. So got that men's IU men's basketball, currently number 16 in the country, starting out 2-0. They play South Carolina tomorrow at 3 o'clock. At I believe at home, might be in a
Oh,
week.
there you go.
So got that going for us. IU has really improved. 16 in the country. I was kind of surprised they're in the preseason rankings after last season ended. It was not great. It was very mediocre. A lot of people are calling for Mike Woodson's job if he doesn't do anything this year. I think you have to make the tournament, and I think you have to make a deep run in the tournament. You got to go at least Sweet 16, if not Elite 8. And if you can't do that, your ass might be grass, as they say. So you gotta watch out for Mike Woodson this year. I really do see the Indiana faithful losing patience, especially with how Kurt Signetti has been able to turn around the football program in such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
And they want to see that NIL money to be used better. So, but what about Kentucky? I know we kind of talked about it, but I guess let's hear you brag on Kentucky basketball while I go drink.
Well, yeah, Kentucky basketball starting the season out 3-0. I mean, the first two games were, I mean, you want to say cupcake games, which I will agree that they were kind of cupcake games, but they beat Duke, and that was a very close game, a very tightly contested game all the way to the end, which was great to see, especially for an early season matchup because early season matchups it could be a blowout. But Mark Pope's got the boys humming. I'll tell you that much. I know it's only 3 games into the season, but they got some intensity on this team, which is good to see.
Yeah, they definitely look better than what they have the last few years under Scott Perry. So,
I mean, Cooper Flag still had a decent game for Duke. I mean, he's going to be the number 1 overall pick in the NBA draft, most likely.
yeah,
I mean,
Duke's got a solid team. They're not quite the contenders that they were when they had Coach K every year, but I mean they'll
be solid.
They're still pretty solid. I think that team is going to make a deep tournament run this year. They've got the potential to do that if they could keep their guys healthy.
So Kentucky is off till Tuesday. They are playing Lipscomb on Tuesday night. So that
I think IU plays them too. So there you go.
They're number 19 in the rankings, but I assume with the win over Duke, they will be shot up the rankings
They'll
this
probably
week.
they'll probably go to 12, maybe 11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Notre Dame football, big game for them. I mean, they crossed Florida State, which is not surprising. Florida State's terrible. Yeah, right.
You're supposed to beat them. Next, who they play next?
They're playing Virginia tomorrow, and they're ranked number 8th in the nation. So we're in a good spot.
Virginia or West Virginia?
Virginia.
Virginia's ranked number 8. No, Notre Dame's
No,
number.
Notre
Okay.
Dame's ranked 8.
I was about to say, wait, where's Virginia good at football? They're a basketball.
So
school.
Virginia, it should be an easy dub tomorrow. Hopefully, Notre Dame doesn't play down to their competition. And then the next game is next weekend, and it's Army, undefeated Army coming to town next week. So that would be.
How are they wrapping up their season? Aren't they playing USC?
Yep, at USC. So Notre Dame's path to the playoff is to win out, but that Army game is probably the last tough game that they have on their schedule because Army's undefeated.
Yeah, USC's kind of had some struggles this year, which you love to see.
You do.
Love to see it. I hate USC. Almost as they're not. It's not on my level of hatred for Kentucky basketball or Purdue or Ohio State, but it's up there.
But as of now, I think your team and my team is in that 5 through 8 slot. We're going to be hosting a home playoff game. So I think it's the 5 through 8 seed that gets the home playoff game.
Yep, it is. Yep. So and NFL news, just to wrap things up. We're going kind of quick, guys. I'm sorry. I was kind of because we got the boxing match coming up here in about a half hour. NFL. Indianapolis Colts. Don't we just... This is our team. This is our Colts. We bleed blue.
Oh, yeah.
And this is our team. This is our Colts. We love them. Win or lose.
Go fight, win.
Go fight, lose. Because that's what they're going to do here this week against the Jets. They decided to go back to Anthony Richardson. So
A lot of people in Indianapolis are excited for that move. I mean, maybe not you, but other people are excited about it.
I don't care. I don't. The team is not in a position offensively to succeed. I don't care who the quarterback is. I think it comes down to coaching. It comes down to quarterback play. Joe Flacco didn't look great in his time starting, but definitely I think would have looked better than what Richardson did against Buffalo.
That start was kind of bad.
I know it
Very
was bad,
bad.
but I think Richardson could have done the same thing. That's why I can't even really say like you're
True.
comparing crap to crap. What kind of crap do you want? I mean, at least the Bears have decided, we're going to stick with Caleb Williams to the bitter end.
Well, we fired our offense coordinator, so we'll see if this is going to make any difference. And they got the Packers coming to town, so
It's funny.
Go fight, lose.
Seattle had that same offensive coordinator, and what they do?
They fired him.
Oh, they fired him. That's right. So the Bears, you thought, that was a smart hire. Good job, Chicago.
And there's that interview out there that they're asking Jackson Smith and Jigba, and they're like, "What do you think about Shane Waldron?" And he was just like, "Are we live? Are we live?"
That tells you all you need to know.
Yep.
But
we probably get our butts kicked to the Packers. I mean, it's a home game, but we'll probably still lose.
we're not in Discord. Let's go play the sound. Hold on.
But you want to hear? I'll let you play the sound, but
hold on. This right here, actually, this one right here, and just for all of y'all at home, we have got.
Yeah.
Oh, it didn't even play because I got the sound muted like an idiot. Hold on. Let's fix that, shall we? Shall we? Maybe not. Maybe not.
Oh my goodness.
No, never mind.
I guess not.
We're just
But
gonna throw it
anyway.
away. Anyways, that was awful.
Yeah.
But the Bears still suck.
Well, you want to hear the remaining schedule? So they're playing the Packers, then they play the Vikings, then they play the Lions, then they play the 49ers, then they play the Vikings, the Lions, and the Seahawks, and the Packers. So screw that schedule.
Yay! Another 4-win season. Man, I remember when they were in contention to beat Washington. And their safety decided to sit there and pump up the crowd, man. Pump up the crowd for a Hail Mary.
I was talking to Bears fans. I'm not talking crap. I'm talking to Bears fans. Yeah, let's go. Like,
I love it how like every single team that goes into play Minnesota tries to make fun of their little goal. Every single team.
Yeah.
It's great. I love how Sean Payton did it one year, and that was the year that with the Diggs catch, they deserve to lose that game. Sean Payton's got short man syndrome. So we'll just leave it at that.
How about Dak Prescott? Season-ending surgery.
Out for the year. Knee surgery.
Yeah.
It's prayers up for him.
Was it knee or is it hamstring? I think it was hamstring.
I don't know. It's something. I think he's kind of given up on the season. I think Mike McCarthy's ass is also grass at the end of the year. And they're going to hire Bill Belichick. That's my theory. I'm sticking to it. Or he'll hire another yes man because that's what you're. Is hire yes men and not football coaches. But hey, here we are.
Just remember, Jerry will go on a radio show and he will say, "I will fire you."
Ballsy. And he doesn't really have the say. You know what I would do if I was ESPN Dallas? You're fired. I'm taking your show off the air. Bye. And the football team, the owner of a football team should not have a radio.
No.
Jim Irsay doesn't have a radio show. Thank God. Could you imagine if Jim Irsay had a radio show?
I don't think it would last a week.
Our team, the Colts, and Anthony Richardson, and Shane Steichen. Oh yeah, he's the next Don Shula. I think he's just throwing out a name. That's I love Jim Irsay, but bro, get off the drugs, please, and sell the team. Kind of probably how we feel about the McCaskies. Sell the team. Sell it all.
It's about anybody in Chicago owning any team. Sell the teams.
What is it? What's his nuts considering selling the White Sox at least?
Jerry Reinsdorf, yeah, he's
That
considering
guy,
it.
that 90-year-old man.
Yep.
Anyways,
Well, we got a big game in college football tomorrow. Tennessee and Georgia. Georgia could
that'll be a
be
good matchup.
that'd be possibly an elimination game for Georgia. That'd be their third loss on the season.
I would be surprised even if they won the game if they would still make it because that's 2 losses. But I mean, this field is 12 teams now, so I think you could probably get away with 2 losses. But it's gonna be interesting. I'm really interested to see how the schedule how they handle that because I heard that they could expand this from 12 to 16 eventually.
Mhm.
I heard by 2026 or 2027.
They're supposed to be going to 14 in a couple years.
Yeah, 14. Yeah, that's what it was. It was 14 teams, I think, by 28 or something. So, we'll see how it goes. Curious to see how this year's gonna go. To see a home college football playoff game in Bloomington, Indiana sounds really. I don't know if I'd be able to go because those tickets will be dumb expensive, but
No.
it'll be interesting. My dad did get tickets to go to the Big Ten championship game. So
No, there you go. I was just looking at the college football schedule tomorrow, and I mean, the only other ranked matchup really that's worth watching possibly is Missouri versus South Carolina. Everything else is kind of
yeah,
so.
we're kind of getting to that point in the schedule where the schedule's kind of meh. And the last 2 weeks of the season, that's when you get kind of your rivalry games going and that kind of thing. So, but I know short show today, short show tonight. I guess we want to circle back to the playoffs. We could have a rant about that for a few minutes, but for NASCAR, I guess we'll go ahead and talk about. I know I kind of flew through everything, but really with the NASCAR playoff, y'all are not gonna agree with me. 10 drivers. NASCAR just needs to overhaul everything. But we'll just strip it right down to the studs. We'll go to Daytona Beach and we'll just wipe everything.
Yeah.
Because really, the Busch Clash, as much as people hated it at Daytona,
Yeah.
needs to go back to Daytona. Or if you don't want to go back to Daytona, that's fine. But your charter team should not be involved in the Busch Clash. Just because you have a charter doesn't mean that you get an automatic bid to be able to run in the Busch Clash.
Yeah.
It needs to be pole sitters and previous champions. All right, I think that's pretty simple, and keep it at that. I don't care if it's 12 cars for a season or 8 cars. I don't care. Just 12 cars, pole sitters and past champs. That's it. That's good. We're done. Keep it simple.
Yeah.
Um,
We don't need like 25 plus cars going to the Coliseum or 25 plus cars going to Bowman Gray.
Speaking of Bowman Gray, they're getting safer barriers and they're getting updated lighting systems.
Well, that's good. I mean, got to do something to get with the clash coming.
Well, I mean, you gotta give them safer barriers because they hit so hard at 40 miles an hour.
Especially how rigid that car is. That's the problem.
Maybe NASCAR should fix that. Oh wait, they
won't. Yeah, they won't.
Thank you for letting me take shots at NASCAR.
It's like not like the drivers are complaining or anything. It's like, I mean, even Ty Gibbs. I mean, Ty Gibbs had that massive crash on lap 2 at Phoenix, and then he said in the interview with MRN or something, he was like, "I hope they make these cars softer next year." But they won't,
and that's okay because it's NASCAR. So we got playoffs, right? 10 drivers. If you really want to make every race matter, no winning your own crap. Okay, just no. Stop. You don't need this winning your own stuff. Now, what you could do is you could modernize the Winston Cup format. All right, hear me out. You still want to have excitement in your Game 7 moment and you want to make it exciting for all 500 laps, keep your stages. Award stage points. But this one, I think everybody will love me for this one. Don't throw a caution. You want to have your stages, fine. But do what they did a couple years ago for the road courses. Just let the race play out naturally. And if they wreck, great. If they don't, great.
Yeah.
You're still going to have your Ross Chastain every once in a while that's going to sit there and be a menace. You got Denny Hamlin that likes to put people in bad positions. I think, especially on ovals, you're still going to get your wrecks.
Probably.
But just let the race play out. We don't need these random cautions and, all this other crap. Like, just let the race go. And do it that way. And lock 10 drivers in. Really want to have a playoff. And then what you could do is you could do 5 and 5. And after 5 races, you cut the field down from 10 to 5. Last 5 races to determine your champion.
I mean,
and guess what, Larry? And guess what, Larry Mack? If it's boring, oh well. If somebody has it locked up the week before, oh well. It's no different from your Winston Cup champions back in the 80s and 90s where they would lock it up 2 or 3 weeks before.
I mean, did you see those grandstands? I mean, they were pretty packed a week early for some of those championships. I don't know about you, but my thing is I'd still do either 10 to 12 drivers and do it a 10 race chase. And then whoever's the best out of those 10 weeks, champion.
Or, I have an idea. You really want to modernize the Winston Cup format? 36 races, boom, done. Whoever's your champion after 36.
And then it's been the All-Star 15.
No.
Drop the mic and leave.
It's just, I think it's really simple. You have it, and I think the season's too long some years. Make it 33 races. You get a couple more off weeks in there with the guys. And round up the season before November.
I mean, they're getting what, 1 next year, and that's just Easter?
Yeah.
Damn.
$33 races. You don't need to be going to Phoenix twice. Okay. You don't need to go to Martinsville twice or Bristol twice. I know that's so controversial. You don't need to go to Richmond twice or Talladega. Really, the only two tracks, in my opinion, that should have 2 dates: Daytona and Charlotte.
I will argue Talladega should get 2 dates.
Okay, you can give Talladega 2 dates, but Charlotte should get 2. And go back to the Oval. You have your 600 miler in May, and then you have the All American 500 in the fall.
Put that back on Saturday night too. Just discussion.
Yeah. I mean, it used to not be on Saturday night. It used to be on Sundays, but yeah, sure. Put it on Saturday night. I don't care. I mean, it just, it needs to be back on the Oval because the Oval puts on better racing in this car right now. Period.
Mm-hmm. And they won't do anything to add horsepower or anything like that in this offseason. They'll just be like, oh, we gotta do, it's gotta be all tires. It's like, no, you got a horsepower problem too. Like, hello.
I think if you're gonna have a lack of power, I think you do need to work on the tires. However, they got too much contact area for the track. Cut it in half. And keep the same car.
You heard about the state of the sport address where O'Donnell and Phelps were like, oh yeah, we have a 4th OEM really close to joining us. You've been saying that for 10 years, bud.
Yeah. Why'd you let Dodge go? And now you're gonna say Dodge is coming back? Dodge is really close. Are they close?
Are they?
They not.
We've been asking this question for 10 years, so it's like it don't matter.
But apparently Nissan is really close. Really? Do they know? They're going to give it to competition Toyota. We got to get another Jap manufacturer in there. Is that what we got to do? Ooh.
Is Cadillac coming?
I mean, they could replace Chevrolet.
Yeah, they could. Yeah, I mean, you're gonna need to replace that car.
Or
anyway.
it's going to be the Malibu.
Ooh.
It's going to be a fleet car.
Woohoo.
It's going to be your grocery getter, just like that Toyota Camry. Didn't even call it a Camry. I didn't even put enough respect on it to call it the Camry. called the
No.
camera. But yeah, I think you could easily make the changes to the playoffs, get rid of it, or make a 10 race chase with 10 guys. I to me,
They need to do something. But they won't.
this is just my opinion, and I know my opinion, is very old school. Call me a boomer, Joe. Call me a boomer when you listen to this. But in my honest opinion, need to have it be the top 10. Those first 3 years of the chase, where it was the top 10 drivers in the points, that was elite company.
Mm-hmm.
That was elite company.
It was.
Like you get the best of the best. Now, sure, it left Jeff Gordon out. It left Tony Stewart out, who was defending champion in 06. But you still had the best of the best in the sport going after it. Yep. It's hard to get into the top 10. It's hard to get in that chase. Right now, with 16, it's hard. It's too, hold on. It's too easy, especially with the winning you're in.
Yep. It's true.
35th place, Harrison Burton shouldn't have been. I'm sorry. And guess what happened?
He got eliminated in the first round.
Oh, he got eliminated in the first round. Shocker.
Yep.
Oh, man, I'm so surprised. And the Truck Series shouldn't have a playoffs in the Xfinity Series. Well, Truck for sure. Xfinity, you can make an argument.
I would agree with that.
Xfinity, you can make an argument.
Yeah.
Truck, you can't change my mind. They just don't have enough races.
No.
Xfinity, it has about the same amount. I know they race a couple times less, but and again, that's why I say if you still want to have a 36 race schedule, each track gets a date. So that would still put so let's look at it. Let's talk about this. Kansas. I'm just gonna go through all the SMI or the ISC tracks first, or the NASCAR tracks. Kansas, Darlington, Daytona, Talladega, Phoenix, Richmond, Watkins Glen, Chicago race, whether you want to have it at Chicagoland Speedway or the Chicago Street Race, is the NASCAR operated track. Excuse me, what else is there? I think I hit them all.
I think you did.
Pahonix.
Yeah, Pahonix.
Yeah, so that's 9 races. So you get 2 for Talladega, 2 for Daytona. So
2 for Charlotte.
And 2 for Charlotte. Well, Charlotte's that's my track.
That's right.
Yeah. So you get, that's like 10, 12 races right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's half your schedule. Then you get 2 for Charlotte. That puts you at around 15. Then you've got your non-SMI tracks. So you got Indianapolis. Then you got Bristol. Oh, and I forgot Martinsville too. You got Bristol. You got Martinsville. You got Sonoma. You got Texas. You've got Atlanta.
Homestead.
Las Vegas. Oh, Homestead. I forgot Homestead. Yeah, it's a NASCAR track. So I mean that would put you and that just opens you up to go to more places, right?
Mm-hmm.
Iowa is another one.
Could go to Portland at some point.
It just opens you up to, if you want to go to the Pacific Northwest and go to Portland, or if you want to go back into the Colorado area and go to Pikes Peak. Dover's another one. Nashville's another one.
New Hampshire.
So, New Hampshire. AJ's gonna kill us for waiting this long to mention New Hampshire. But yeah, like you could easily open it up to more places. You can get Kentucky back on the schedule. If you wanted to have a race, wanted to have a race out in Nebraska. I don't even know if they got racetracks up there. I don't know.
Well, they need to have a race in Southern California, but
no, they don't.
To me, I mean, it's in a market at least. I mean, Auto Club. I heard this week Auto Club's renovations are on hold. They just on hold. I don't think it's ever going to happen, but they're just like, it's on hold.
They don't need to go to SoCal. I'm sorry, they don't. Now, what NASCAR could do to be smart, they could buy Irwindale and put it up to NASCAR specifications. Criminy.
Hold the flash there.
Oh, we need to have a modern facility. Who cares? Pull the freaking cars out there, half-mile racetrack, put on a 400-lap cup race there. They could do it. You don't need 100,000 people only got like 30. And you probably still wouldn't sell it out because nobody likes racing in Southern California. I'm just saying. It is not, in my opinion, it is not a NASCAR market. It's dirt racing and open wheel. That's what it is over there. Like, no one cares about NASCAR. Now, am I heartbroken that Auto Club basically was torn down and probably is forever torn down? Sure, absolutely. But at the same time, can't really say I'm surprised because Ontario failed, Riverside failed, Irwindale's failed now, Auto Club's failed now. You can't have a sustaining racetrack out there in SoCal. I'm sorry, you can't. So what are you gonna do? Go do a street race somewhere? Can't do it in Long Beach.
I heard San Diego's an option, but who knows about that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess. To me, I'm still.
Or somebody said to go to Kevin Harvick's racetrack in Bakersfield.
Yeah, I guess you could. Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Laguna Seca, but you're going more towards Sonoma at that point.
So that's where I'm just like, we don't need SoCal. We don't. We were NASCAR survived for a long time without being there. So and they're surviving now. They're okay. They're fine. They're going to Mexico City.
Ooh.
Get your passport ready. Hope Kyle Busch doesn't get arrested on arrival. Just saying. Maybe he'll get a presidential pardon from Donald Trump. I don't know. But yeah, apparently he's like one of the most wanted people in Mexico still after his whole gun fiasco. So,
oh boy.
But
buckle your chin straps.
Yeah, right. So, well, we are we were. I spent the last few minutes ranting. I'm gonna call close to this. Did you want to add anything?
I think we covered everything. Just got a good size NFL weekend. Ravens Steelers is one of the big games.
Oh,
on Sunday.
Know what we didn't talk about?
What's that?
We didn't talk about the Washington game last night and how they stunk it up. You have a 7-3 lead going into half. You could have easily capitalized on more opportunities to put more points on the board, and you blew it. Good job, Dan Quinn. You could take the man out of Atlanta, but you can't take Atlanta out of the man. You choked a 7-3 lead. Like, come on. You're with it. Like, anyways, but overall, I thought it was a pretty decent game. But yeah, big spread coming up this weekend. Cincinnati, San Diego.
Mm-hmm. Los Angeles Chargers.
Thank you. People just need to not move. I mean, don't move your teams, people.
Ravens, Steelers. That'll be another good game this weekend.
That's always a good one.
I'm just trying to look real quickly on what the rest of the weekend looks
Colts
like.
Are playing the Jets. They're going to lose. So if you want to see a team lose and see me cry, come to our Discord on Sunday.
And Bears will lose to the Packers. So just looking here. Seahawks and Niners. That's Sunday. Bills and Chiefs. That will be America's Game of the Week on CBS with Tony and Jim. Bills and Chiefs. Possible AFC Championship preview.
Yay! Tony Romo sucking off Patrick Mahomes. Woo!
I mean, it'd be the same thing in Collinsworth. So.
I mean, have you been looking at my Twitter?
I have.
I'm sorry. Anyways. Yeah.
And then if you.
That'll be a good game. That's always a good matchup between.
And then if you want to stick around for Monday, it's Texans Cowboys. Woo!
Texas rivalry.
That game will be over by the end of the first quarter.
Why? It'll be a tie?
No, Texans will probably be up 14-0 on the Cowboys at the end of
one. Prediction. 14-point lead. It's bold prediction.
You know what I did? I did a prediction on the Ohio State Purdue game, and I told my buddy who's in town last weekend. I said, "Why?" I said Ohio State would be up 14-0 at the end of the first quarter, and what it was 14-0 at the end of the first quarter.
So funny you mentioned that. We were watching that game a little bit because we hate Purdue and Ohio State. At least the people that were over at my house this past weekend, with equal passions because they're Michigan fans, and I'm an IU fan. And I saw the most Purdue thing last Saturday. It was the greatest thing I've ever seen. They are marching down the field against Ohio State. They can't punch it in, and inside the 10-yard line to go score. So they line up for a chip shot field goal. And I said, Purdue is not going to score another point the rest of the game. They just got all the wind taken out of the sails, and what they do?
They didn't score.
They didn't score another point the rest of the game. It was 49-0.
Go fight, lose, Purdue.
Go fight, lose, Purdue. Just do it. It's great. Gives me great content because, how you feel. But, here we are. Anyways, so now we're going to really wrap up the show for real. But one more thing. I just want to give a shout out to all of our sponsors. W Energy is a...
Uh-oh.
Save me. I need the ad read. Hold on. Here we go. W Energy is a brand of energy drinks that are designed to be clean, flavorful, focused on energy. Use code AS15TV to save 10% on your order today. Visit w.gg to place your order today.
Can't you see we have a lot of things on our mind, people at home? Jeez.
Yeah. Anyways, so W, get yourself some W. Go to Falcon Grafix. If you mention All-Star 15 TV, you get $5 off of your first order. Of course, thank you to Joe Hutchings for the graphics here, JVM Graphics, for the cool background that we have here, and then also the opening video. So grateful for that intro there. Thank you for all that he does. And of course, AJ at All-Star 15 TV for letting us crash on his channel for the podcast here. With his help, we are able to stream to Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok every single week. It's great. We try to do this every Friday night. We missed last week because things get busy, but gonna be a good podcast. I think we're still growing it a little bit. Can't wait to see the views on this one this week. Should be a good time. But also,
we should be back with a little bit longer episode next week.
And of course, we've got our iRacing stuff going on continuously. Extreme Motorsports, Warrior Enterprises, we're heading towards the playoffs. Got a couple drivers in on the Xfinity side. Got a couple of truck drivers out on the outside looking in. So hopefully we can continue to make that playoff push here toward the end of the regular season.
Going to New Hampshire, so make sure to join the All-Star 15 channel here Tuesday and Wednesday night at New Hampshire, back-to-back nights. Be the last race before the Thanksgiving break, before we go to Talladega for the regular season finale in 2 weeks.
Yep, so we got that going on. Should be a good time. Excuse me, looking forward to that. New Hampshire, and then of course they get to wrap things up. Rick Motec sponsoring that series for Extreme Motorsports, but really been a great season so far on both sides, the truck and the Xfinity series. Would really love to see our guys get a win here before the season's out. So whether they make playoffs or not, I just want to see us win a race. That'd be our first win as a team, as an organization. So that would be cool. But without further ado, that is it for us tonight. My name is Gary. That is Mike Campigio. We will see you next time, hopefully next Friday, on, the All-Star Sports Report.
Good night, Canada.
Good night, Canada. And I would love to see Mike Tyson win that fight, but we'll find out. It's happening.
We're going to find out right now.